Don, does Chelsea's season start now?
I pray. I pray, man, Terry, because listen, the guy made changes. He didn't start certain personnel, and we looked a lot better in possession. You know, even just the chances that we were creating for Jackson, there were more clear-cut chances. It's no surprise that Jackson scored yesterday. Do you know what I'm saying? I've been screaming, start Cole Palmer, drop Gallagher, and put Enzo in that pivot. You know what I'm saying? I was getting cooked on this show. Oh, Cole Palmer's not a 10. You know, ask any Man City fan, he's not a 10. I've said it. I've been watching this guy for years. I know what he's on. Yeah, he can play in that 10 comfortably. And look what he did when he was in that role, man. Man of the match performance, got an assist, got a second assist. The goal was disallowed, even though it wasn't offside. Obviously, no VAR in his competition. So he needs to stay in that 11 now. He needs to stay in there because he is actually our link between our midfield and our attack. And he dictates that game in midfield so comfortably. Do you know what I mean? So comfortably, so polished for a 21-year-old, man. So I'm excited to see what else is to come from Cole Palmer. Do you know what I mean? Simple things like playing Levi at centre-back, Terry. I'm not sure if you watched much of the game, but the guy just looks so comfortable, man. I was seeing a lot of leadership skills from him as well. Things that I've seen for him when he plays for England. Do you get what I'm saying? He just looks a lot more comfortable and looks a lot more assured when he's playing in that role. So these are simple things like stuff he just said about United and the players that they've got. Simple things with us. Football sometimes, strip it back, take it back to basics, play man in their comfortable position, add quality on that pitch, and the team will play better. And you should hopefully get better results. So I hope this is going to be the start of Poch not playing guys like Gallagher, not playing guys like Thiago Silva, and keeping, you know, players with quality like a Maatsen on the pitch, players like I said, Cole Palmer on the pitch, and Mudryk gaining more and more confidence by the week. He's looking good right now, man. So yeah, I'm praying that Poch doesn't go back to what we've been seeing in terms of the personnel. He needs to keep certain guys in this 11 now, Terry, man. It's enough. We've seen enough of Gallagher and Silva to know that they're not going to help us kick on going forward.
Do you still not have concerns, though, about how that game went? I mean, if Brighton and Hove Albion had any, and I mean any player who knew how to kick the circle thing, the ball thing, into the net, with the amount of chances they created and the amount of opportunities they had, that game should never have ended 1-0. There is an element of luck to that.
We also had chances.
You did, but Joao Pedro missed from like 5 yards.
Bozo. The guy was a bozo in that game. Joao Pedro.
Yeah, like we can see the chances. I'm not saying that we were perfect yesterday, but it was a step in the right direction. I was seeing a lot more fluidity on the pitch. It's a step in the right direction, Tom. I'm not saying this is the final product. We've actually seen
it can't be the final product. You spent $1 billion.
Of course, it's not the final product, bro. It's literally one game where we've seen Cole Palmer's first start. This is a step in the right direction. All I'm saying is we looked a lot better, and like I said, the chance creation, the link up that Jackson's got with the midfield now. He's not isolated anymore because he's got that link in midfield in Cole Palmer who can help him out. So this is just a way to build a little bit of confidence and for us to build. I do get what you're saying in terms of like the chances Brighton missed. Yes, they could have won the game, but I'm sorry, the game's the game. We create a lot of chances and we miss them as well, and we end up losing the game. So Brighton lost. It's football, end of the day. So this is something that we can kick on from. Do you know what I mean?
Man United won against Burnley 1-0 in a game that Burnley were closer to the win than Man United. And Chelsea won against Brighton 1-0 in a game that people think Brighton should have been closer to the win than Chelsea. And I think it's just a sign that these big teams, sometimes you just need that 1-0 win to kickstart some of the players, for the players to start gaining confidence a little bit. Like, I believe that Jackson, I always said that Jackson's a good player. He needs that first goal to start because his movement is elite. His physicality is there. I believe he's 22 years old and can learn a lot. So, but he needs that goal to kickstart his season. I saw positive. I watched Chelsea, to be honest, with the second eye. I had like the 4 games on, but every time I was looking, yes, Brighton had the chance, but also I saw the link-up play that we saw in the preseason between the Chelsea players. Ian Maatsen look really good. Look like a player who's good on the ball.
And that's exactly why I've been calling for him.
Very good. It's all about Poch now. Is he going to be able to trust these youngsters? Because let's face it, I don't think these youngsters will keep playing in the Premier League and winning games. They don't have the experience. Don doesn't like the word experience, but it is a real thing. Is he going to revert back to playing Sterling's and the Thiago Silvas and the Gallaghers again? And this is what it's going to when it fell apart before. That's the pressure. It's all about the pressure on Chelsea. Can you play a good game without having a result in the next 10 games? Can you do that? Or he's going to choose the experience back? And it's up to him, though. And it's up to the board to put pressure or not on him. This is it. It's just, do you
Yeah.
trust the youngsters to keep giving them confidence, to keep giving them games? I doubt it, because Chelsea is a football club that spent money, and you will need to see the box office people. You'll need to see the Sterlings.
No, we don't need to
That's
see the
it.
Sterlings. That's not how it works. I'm sorry, man. Sterling
You're gonna have to
has
see the
has
Sterling because you've got
no.
more injuries.
We yeah. Listen, Sterling's gonna play in it, but we don't have to play the Sterlings if he's not playing well. That's not how it works. Do you get what I'm saying? So even Maatsen yesterday, he looked a lot neater when we was attacking. No, even that goal that we scored, he played a big part, and he played a very, very similar pass to what he played in pre-season against Newcastle when Jackson scored. You know what I mean? He got the little pre-assist to Palmer and for Palmer to slip it in. So again, it goes back to the quality, man. We can speak about experience all day, but if these experienced players aren't able to provide the quality that we need, then they're redundant on the pitch. Do you get it? I'd rather put some trust in the young players that know what they're doing, and then we go from there. If you've got to bring in like a Silva for a bigger game, so be it. But right now, we need to kick on, because the reality is we're working with young players. We can't be just saying, oh, we don't trust them, we don't trust them. We've got to play them. We've got to play them. And when they're showing up like they did yesterday, you can see that these guys can definitely develop and play well together. So we move from there.
Yeah. Northside, as a rival to Chelsea, do you feel like some of the young players, that the Mihajlo Mudriks of this world, are starting to turn a corner now, or do you still think it's too early to tell with Chelsea?
I think it's too early, to be honest. For me, I need to see repetition. I've not seen it, consistent enough. I know we're still very early in the season, but for me, I need to see consistency before I start saying things have changed. I get what you're saying, that you are, looking better in certain areas. But yeah, for me, I think it's a bit too premature for that. But
it's a place to build, isn't it? That's the main thing. It's the place to build. It's a place to start from, I guess.
I mean, you can't get any worse than what we've been seeing. Do you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't really get any worse, if I completely be honest. Yeah, it's just mad. But you never know. You never know what will come from it. I remember when we put Saka ahead of Pepe, and look how Saka flourished with the minutes given. I think a lot of youngsters need to be given minutes. I say the same thing for Man United. Pelistri, Garnacho. I mean, if the players that are playing ahead of them are doing worse, then just keep at it. And with youngsters, they may kick on. We've done it at Arsenal. I've seen it done at Man United. And then you can gauge, whereabouts certain players are.
I've literally seen it done at Chelsea when we had the transfer ban. We had so many young players in that team, and they all kicked on. We had no choice to do it then. And everyone knows that Chelsea don't give youngsters chances like that. We had no chance to do it, and these guys proved themselves and got themselves in the top 4. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you trust these guys and if they've got that quality, put your arm around them. Bro, there's no reason why these guys can't get wins together.
Let's not. Yes, the likes of Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham turned up in that season, but you still had a number of experienced heads who put in good performances.
I agree with that.
You don't have that this year.
But we do have enough experience, though, when they start to come back. You've got players like, you're telling me that Disasi might not have the Premier League experience, but he's very experienced. The guy's, 25, 26? You've got players like Reece. 22. You've got players. He's not 22. You're talking about
Disasi's not 26.
You go have a look at his age, Tom, and then come back. But on to the next one. Yeah, you've got Reece James.
Spend so much on a 25-year-old?
Axel Disasi is 25.
He's 25. Yeah, so he's got
this season.
Yeah, he's got a lot of experience. He was I think he even captained Monaco at one point as well. You've got Reece James, that's going to be in the 11 most likely. In Nkunku, there is still going to be experience in and around his team. And even if they're not in the 11, it's still experience in the squad. Do you get it? Ideally, you want experience on the pitch, Tom. I agree with you. But this is the reality of the situation, bro. And the younger players are showing up the more experienced ones that we've got right now. So we just have to kick on with them, man. We have to.
Well, in the nice possible way, the younger players are going to, because they're not getting any of the flack, which is the right way to be.
Yes, because they don't deserve the flack right now.
Whenever you have a bad game, the flack gets thrown onto the experienced heads. The likes of a Chilwell, the likes of a Gallagher, the likes of a Sterling, the likes of a Thiago Silva. Even
all the players you've mentioned haven't been great. All the players that you've mentioned haven't been great. Barring Sterling's had 2 good games. The rest of the time he's been crap. Gallagher's been very average, not Chelsea level. Silva's been poor. He's cost us about 3 goals from individual mistakes. And then Sanchez, he's grown into it the past, I would say, 2 games. Yesterday, I don't know what this guy was smoking before the game. He was on some serious Cali, yeah. But apart from that, he was all right against Bournemouth, and he was all right the game after that. Who did we play after that against Bournemouth the other day? Who was it? Aston Villa. He was very good. He kept us in the game, even though we lost that game. It could have been more if it wasn't for him. So again, these players that you've mentioned, they've been poor. It's the young ones that have been good.
I mean, I disagree. I think, yes, they've not performed to the level you expect from a Chelsea, but I also think some of the youngsters haven't. But the pressure and the criticism is always going to fall on the experienced heads. It always is going to, because Nicholas Jackson has been awful up until yesterday. Yes, he might do all the baby Drogba hold up and link up, but that's not really what Chelsea needed at that point in time. They needed a goal scorer. You need someone, because all you've had in the past couple of years is someone who you've been able to get into the box and then waste it in the box. You've now got a striker who's able to hold it up in the box, but still waste it in the box. But he wasn't getting anywhere near the pelters that Sterling was getting. The likes of Mudryk. Yeah, the past 2 games, I'm starting to see why he might be worth 50 million. Certainly not worth 88, but 50. But he was getting none of the pelters that a Sterling or a Gallagher were getting. Putting in
Mudryk wasn't getting pelters. You know how much he's been getting slated by the fan base and rivals. Mudryk has been getting slated from last season.
I don't give a crap what Magic Martial 9 on Twitter says. I care what the pundits, I care what the media say. And the media have been off them. The media have not been trying to say Mudryk is a disgrace, Mudryk is this, Mudryk is that. It's been Raheem Sterling not performing to the level. Gallagher, get him gone. Chilwell, awful vice captain. I agree they've not been great. But there are youngsters who have not been great either. And yet, the experienced heads are the ones who are getting the criticism and the pelters. You might have to look close.
Because they haven't been good enough. They haven't been good enough. The players have to take responsibility. Listen, Sterling has been in this league now for over a decade, yeah? You expect this guy to be stepping up. He's the highest earner at the club. I'm sorry, you can't be expecting mediocre performances from Sterling. We saw what he did against Liverpool. We saw what he did against West Ham. This guy needs to turn up. So if he's getting criticised, he's being criticised, and rightly so.
Why is it one thing for Sterling and another for, let's say, Jackson? When it's Jackson, it's
because how you comparing a guy that was how you comparing a guy that's literally been in this league for over 10 years to a guy that's raw and we didn't know about before he even came to Chelsea.
You could be in the league for 15 years. You could be the best player in the world. If the team around you isn't doing the job and getting the ball to you, what is the point?
The ball does go to Sterling and he loses it time and time again. You clearly don't watch our games, Tom. You just
I don't get why Tom is defending Sterling. I don't get it.
I really don't get it. He's been poor.
So I'm just trying to piece together what exactly the criticism of Sterling is. He's losing the ball, but then in the same breath, you don't have any creativity from anywhere because you're playing Gallagher. You know, you get on the fact that Enzo shouldn't be playing at 10 and Gallagher, you know, he shouldn't be playing. He's not Chelsea level. So someone has to be creative. To be creative, some of the best traits in the world, they lose the ball because to be creative,
if you're losing the ball, if you're not able to retain the ball and beat a man, then I'm sorry, that's useless. That is useless to me. If you can't beat your man consistently as a winger and you constantly keep losing the ball, you will get subbed off. That's what happens. Yeah. And then they put the next winger on that can actually keep the ball. And guess what? Maatsen, he could keep the ball in those positions that Sterling finds himself in, and he was linking up nicely with Jackson. And on Jackson, it's no surprise that his performances have dropped, Tom, because he's literally been isolated, bro. We've had no one connecting the ball to him from midfield. No one. I looked at the stats of Conor Gallagher's progressive passes. It's like 60% in comparison to Enzo, which is on like 83, 85%, bro. No one is progressing the ball from back to front. So Jackson is having to drop deep and do about 2 or 3 rolls. Now you bring in a Cole Palmer. You've got someone that can link up and play closer with him. It's no surprise he scored. So we kick on from there, Tom. You got to look at these things tactically as well, bro. You got to look at these things tactically.
I just don't get why it's always on. It's one thing for the youngsters, and I agree the youngsters shouldn't be getting pelters. But I don't think Sterling has been as bad as it is being made out to be. He has to take the risks. No one else in that Chelsea team is taking the risks. No one is. So
I hear what you're saying, boys. Look, viewers, let us know what you think in relation to this debate. Both had their say on this. We've got some super chats here.